Ebusianfo masan so atena say aha Ghanatube so ensem de edoso nia ekoso ewo oman Ghana mu ene ye kase ye beka ye mfiri hanim say adofo ensem a ekoso ebi ne yenkotie.
And people took the matter to court, and I think the Supreme Court held that whatever name you give it, when two countries come up with an arrangement, that places obligations on both of them. Whether you call it a treaty, a contract, it requires ratification. It was a majority decision. Only one person dissented. So I'm a bit surprised you're saying because an MOU, it means that it oughtn't have gone to Parliament. The judgment was very clear on the Guantanamo 3 that Article 75 was violated, which says international agreements must go through Parliament. And you are a fourth-term MP, so at least you could have gone to Parliament. And you have a massive majority. So what's the problem?
No, I agree with you, and that is why I said at the press conference I held a couple of days ago that when this is elevated beyond an MOU and it's a full agreement, we will go to Parliament under Article 75 and have it ratified. At this point, it is just a loose understanding.
The agreement is enforced. But how can you enforce? How can you enforce something called a loose? That is already enforced. You've got 14. You're bringing 14.
Look, I've inherited so many MOUs that didn't go to Parliament for ratification, and it's
but because of the precedent of the Gizmo 3, I felt like this was, and I think you know this. So is it an oversight? Are you going to apologize for it, or you don't think it is?
No, it's not an oversight because we sought the Attorney General's advice. It was discussed in cabinet, and the Attorney General's advice and his counterpart, the Attorney General on the US side, also said that look, this is an MOU. And MOUs do not require ratification. That is why
the Attorney General is wrong, because the judgment is clear. I can read it.
Oh, you know better law than the Attorney General?
At least the law is there for all of us to read. Unless the English reading of what the Supreme Court said is different.
You see MOUs in that judgment.
The language of Article 75 is very clear. The article forms part of the set of provisions governing the role of the executive arm of government in Ghana's international relations. I'm reading the judgment.
Yeah.
The scope of the article deals with treaties in general. The side notes and the body of the text makes reference to treaties, agreements, and conventions. It is also clear that the instruments referred to relate to Ghana's international relations with other countries or groups of countries, and the article requires that such instruments must be ratified by Parliament. The Constitution makes no mention of any formal distinctions that are dependent on the formality with which such an instrument is formatted or brought into being. Then it goes on to even list MOUs, etc. This is the judgment. This is a Sophia Kufu. I'm not the one saying it. So I don't know whether you're saying because the AG says, in fact, if the argument of the defendant in the state, the government, were to be taken seriously, that the transaction being by way of note verbal, executive agreement, memorandum of understanding, diplomatic note, or what have you, is merely an administrative one, then the question arises as to the exact status of the said persons now that they are in Ghana. Are they migrants? It's a long argument. It basically says once two countries agree on something of that nature, Parliament must ratify. It's very clear.
We are working with the Attorney General's advice, and the Attorney General's advice is that when this is elevated,
Ablakwa is saying that the Attorney General says so. We don't believe that. But I just got a text from PRESEC, our people, or that there Chris Fifi Johnson, who campaigned for the NDC heavily during the election, sends me a text and says, "Senior, good evening. Bernard Avle was Ablakwa senior. Bernard is 1998. Ablakwa is 1999. Viewers, you get the point I'm making? You see the point I'm making? Bernard Avle actually was senior. Ablakwa was a year behind him. Now Ablakwa comes to the show and look at Ablakwa trying to intimidate Bernard and say that I do know more law than Attorney General. This is a blatant abuse of power. It's a blatant violation of the law. And I'm so disappointed that it has to be a foreign minister from PRESEC who does this faux pas. Diplomatic, political, legal faux pas. Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa from PRESEC is so worrying for all of us that he was going to, in his light, we are going to see light. Videbimos lumen. Illuminituo videbimos lumen, in thy light we shall see light. Here is Ablakwa sitting on another Odadia's platform and is throwing the faux pas. He says that I'm sure they forgot or something. I don't understand it. NDC has such an amazing elephant majority in Parliament, and they can send anything to Parliament and whisper to their people, and they don't do it. in the blatant face of the case of Margaret Banfo and Henry Nana Boakye versus the Attorney General? It is in 2017. What's this? GHAC. I thought it's GLR, or it's Ghana Supreme Court Law Report, I believe. Now these were the judges who put up the matter, and they called them the quorum. Ekufu CJ, that's Sophia. Atuguba dissented. Adinyira, Doche, Eniyeboa, Bafoboni, and Badegbe, all of them agreed. Where is Justice Atuguba? Justice Atuguba is here dissenting. This is Sophia. This is Adinyira. This is Doche. This is Eniyeboa. This is Bafoboni. And this is Justice Badegbe. May he rest in peace. With Atuguba dissenting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Decision of the court that the government of Ghana is not able to bring in people as Gitmo 3 and say that it was based on a memorandum of understanding. Samuel Ablakwa tells Bernard Abdel that the Attorney General's view of the matter is that they can do it without Parliament. I do not believe that. I do not believe that Dominic Ayini took that view. Neither do I believe that Srem Sai took that view. I believe that it was an oversight from the foreign minister, and he's hiding behind his oversight. You see, sir, why sometimes they don't come on Good Evening Ghana? I keep telling you that nobody has stopped them from coming on Good Evening. Are you going to come on Good Evening Ghana and tell me this? Ablakwa will sit on this show and say that it's that I would massacre him. It's the Attorney General who did that. The law is clear. The Supreme Court decision is there. That's why he won't come. If I invite him, he won't come. And they'll hide behind politics and say, oh, he's doing MPP program. But these are the issues. These are the issues. You see how Bernard caught him flat? And look at Ablakwa's response. Oh, do you know more law than the Attorney General? Oh my goodness. He should be apologizing for that. You are telling the journalist who is pointing to you a Supreme Court decision, do you know more law than the Attorney General? Really? Well, I've heard Nana Boakye say that he's going back to the Supreme Court to do this. But I use this example to show how journalism can work in Ghana. If Bernard Abdel did not conduct this interview, we will all not be talking about this. He didn't conduct the interview. He didn't pierce the veil. Now, these are the people who did the case. J. Bafo, our favorite Good Evening Ghana friend, Henry Nana Boakye, and Madam Banfo, they went to court in 2016 to challenge the decision of the Mahama administration. Marietta Brew then was the Attorney General. Dominic Ayini, today the Attorney General, was a Deputy Attorney General. They went to Supreme Court and obtained a 6-1 decision against the government. It was a case that was lost to the Attorney General. And it beats anyone's imagination why the same group of people come back to power, do the same thing, repeat the same mistake. The same illegality has been repeated in all fours. It has fallen on all fours with this one. The exact same illegality has been repeated, except that some of the actors are different. The president is the same. The foreign minister was Hannah Tete. Now it's Okudzeto Ablakwa. The Attorney General was Marietta Brew. Now it's Dominic Ayini, who was in fact the deputy to Marietta Brew. That's not good. That's not right.
Ebushafo we de wankasa ode waso ate edweni ehu nia ekoso ewo yemai Ghana mu ene mesho se ko comment section na fa comment no ebrem na mejibre akenkan ede amofefefe aha eye Ghanatube so insema ekoso ena onsa ebeka unsubscribe ya subscribe na hit notification bell no for more news updates see ade akamo.